Hi guys, my name is Sabrina and I'm going to show you a tutorial and kind of how-to on how I built a Bioactive Paludarium out of a Curio cabinet that I purchased off of Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to go over basically the steps I did, also go over all the materials I used. Most of the materials are pretty generic. You can use any brand, but the specific items that are have basic brands for reptiles I'm going to list in the description, and this is also for my carpet jungle python. So for the materials I used, I listed them all right on this slide. The ones that are highlighted in yellow, I'm going to attach a link or description of the exact brand type I used at the bottom. There's just a lot of materials, so I just kind of listed what they were. So check the description below if you want an exact link to what they are, where you can order them, stuff like that. So we have screws, drill, ruler, scotch, blue tape, glass adhesive, glass panels, GE #1 silicone, pond expanding foam, razor blades, cork board, jungle mix substrate, branches, some fake vines, some plants, some river rock. I have a 20 count of isopods in here, some dead leaves, filter foam, egg crate. Filter foam is in aquarium filter foam. Egg crate, water pump, 2-part epoxy, slice of tree bark that's been sanded, driftwood, sample tiles, rubber seal for glass, paint sticks, slate, real plants such as pothos and snake plant, window screen, UVB grow light, a deep dish heat lamp, recessed light sockets, paintbrushes, gloves, glass cutter, dry lock, and acrylic paint. For the acrylic paint, I'll go over the colors I used also when painting, and yeah. So basically, I bought this Curio cabinet off of Marketplace. It was wood, obviously. It had glass doors, top and bottom. You can see that there's 2 sections. What we ended up doing was building a divider, which will be shown in the next picture. My fiance did that with the drill. As long as you have some carpenter skills, it shouldn't be too hard. It's just basically measurements, but we'll get right into that. I just want to go over basically, what the prep was. Of course, you would want to unscrew the doors. You're going to want to be sealing them with sealant, epoxy, so it's just easier to get in there and work if the doors are removed. So with the doors removed, basically you could see that there was recessed lighting already at the top. Depending what cabinet you got, sometimes the lights, like normal light bulbs, won't fit in there. That's the problem we had, so we just replaced the light socket on the top, but it was very simple. Kind of just unscrewed it just so it could fit like an actual light bulb size and not like the Candelara, I believe, lights. Also, with the doors off, you can see that the bottom section and the top section is not divided. You can see kind of like that space, so we built a base out of wood. Like I was saying previously, why we did that is because I initially wanted a bottom basin to incorporate a waterfall in this. And since I didn't feel comfortable putting the water straight in here, and also you kind of need a basin so the water does not fall out when you open the doors, we kind of made it ourselves, and it was all custom out of glass, so we will show you those pictures as well. Here's just a closer picture of what I was kind of talking about. So we just measured the length and the width of that area, so he could make that board for it. And basically, we just drilled it to secure it and make a false bottom. Here's what the false bottom looked like after it has been assembled, and that will also be the basin. This step, what I would advise you to do is now we're going to move on to waterproofing the entire enclosure, just so there's no moisture. So now we're going to get out your masking tape, I would mask all the edges of the glass, and also just, you know, the mirrors or glass you have on the doors. You are going to be waterproofing and sealing the doors even though they are off, and I did not take a picture of that, but basically it's the same process. So here you can see you're going to want to take your silicone and you're going to want to take a caulking gun. You're going to go over every seam in this, and I mean the corner seams, I mean the seams that meet the wood with the glass, anything that looks like it could have water or moisture fall out of it, you're going to go over with the silicone. And what we did, just to make an extra barrier, we got a 2-part epoxy, a low VOC, and we also painted that very thick on the backboard and also that bottom wood piece. You can also go over all the other wood with the epoxy, of course. You're going to let that dry. Here's just another picture of it also when it's dried. I would take a lot of breaks. What I did is I basically did the epoxy first, and then after that dried, then I went with the silicone. So it's going to take a couple days just between letting it cure and whatnot, and also look at your products, make sure that you want it cured before you move on to the next step. The next clip I'm going to show you is a video of how we got panels of glass from Home Depot. We measured out, you know, the length, width, and height that we wanted the basin. We wanted it to kind of fit inside, of course, just like an insert for the bottom. So we made it pretty close to the dimensions of the bottom. We made it about 9 inches high to hold basically everything that's going to go in there, which would eventually be, you know, egg crates to create the structure, the pump, the waterfall, the river rock, and whatnot. So this is the video of us breaking the glass. And then also, it is kind of difficult, so hopefully I give a good, you know, how-to on the next clip. So we built the basin out of glass. And between trial and error, we finally realized how to properly cut glass. And I think this is important because people will fuck up and the instructions are not that clear. So you're going to take a straight edge, you're going to take the score, you're going to score it along that line. Now, what we didn't do the first time is we did not put the straight edge on the seam. We just kind of try to break it on the edge of this cart. So we will show you how to properly break it right now. For 2 people. On.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
So take 2. We managed to salvage another piece of glass that we broke yesterday. Yesterday we was complete fail on the breaking part and not on the slipping part. So we're going to do this again. So yes, you put your straight edge like that. This is a scoring tool you would need. Did we tap it yesterday? We didn't even tap it, huh?
Not today, we didn't.
So the tap is not necessary. We're using 3 3/32 that inch.
All right.
So you're gonna want to get this kind of tool. You're gonna want to take a metal ruler. Can't really see what he's doing, but he's scoring. Make sure you have your glasses on and your safety gloves. Like so. It's better to do this with 2 people so one can hold the ruler and the other can break the glass. Let's move it like right here so they can see. Alright, you're going to take the glass. Put the edge of the cut towards the edge of the surface you're using.
Okay, I'm going to let you do that this time.
Okay.
So you're going to have to hold it, like mainly hold it right there because it's small.
You're going to line up the ruler with your edge.
Oh, okay, hold it right there really tight.
Okay.
Ready?
Set. After we got the pieces of glass, in this picture where it's just kind of showing you, we used a special glass adhesive. We kind of built it, side by side. We, waited for it to cure for a second, and we then applied the silicone as well to all the edges. We did tape them up with Scotch tape, and then the easiest way to do this is make sure you have like a piece of paper towel or cheap paper underneath. You don't want to glue it and do all that on this cardboard. This was just showing the pieces. That way when you're done, you can just flip it over upside down and take off the paper towel, and it won't get stuck to where you're going and what you're doing with it. This is when the glass insert was put inside of the Curio cabinet, and you can see it fit very well. We did a great job. Also, you're going to want a silicone behind and all the edges also, as much as you can. And what I mean by edges is basically so the gap that, of course, is in between the wood cabinet, the Curio cabinet, and the glass. It was maybe only like, I would say, a centimeter, maybe even less. We fit it pretty tight, but you're going to want to take the silicone and fill those gaps as well. So here you can kind of see what I started doing. I would buy definitely the egg crate, and they have like little posts that come with them. Basically, I silicone the post, cut out the egg crate to the size. I also made a little wall kind of tower that is open-ended, on the top. That's where the pump is going to go. After you do this, I would silicone everything. I kind of made the water bottom, so below the egg crate where the water will stay and filter down, I made that, I would say, about 2 to 3 inches. Why I did that is because from here you're going to put rocks on top of the egg crate, and basically you could let it have like a little pool, and it will go right to the pump, filter up, and go into the waterfall. Another thing I want to point out is, since we made this ourselves, of course there's glass edging all around this little insert. So we took the rubber sealing, it's like rubber, all listed in the description below. Basically you kind of wedge it on top of the edges of the glass, silicone that too, of course, and that's just going to protect your animal, of course, from getting cut from glass. Pretty common sense, whatnot. Here I did make a divider, and basically that's going to be for, I'm going to make part of this a land area, which you'll see in the later video. I did want to incorporate a land aspect, and this is pretty long. So to the left of the divider, that will be filled with the river rock, and that will be filled above the river rock, of course, with water, a couple inches for the snake to soak and just sit in the water in case they want to. And on the other side, I did build another structure with the egg crate that will be shown. That will be the land portion. So here's when I kind of started, getting everything together. You're going to want to, it's going to look really ghetto and retarded before it all comes together. It always looks worse before it does get better. But I'm just kind of, so that's the land area. Basically what I did there is I just built another little structure. It was kind of like I would imagine like a box, a cube, without the back side, the right side, or the top. So you basically have the left wall, the front facing wall, and the bottom. I built that separately. I didn't build it inside of there because it was kind of hard to basically put together. But once I got it all silicone together, I put that on top of the original platform and original glass and silicone that. I would suggest you put a layer of the aquarium foam on the bottom of that, whatever you are doing for your land, just so no dirt falls in. I'll also be putting a screen on top of that later on in the video. So here's where it's starting to get built. So I don't know why I put the branches in first. You just gotta go for it. There's no right way or wrong way to do this. I found that this was easier because you're gonna eventually aquarium, pond, seal foam, everything. But just to get a general idea, that piece of white styrofoam that's just to hold up that rock waterfall structure, is going to be removed. But basically I put that, wedged that underneath, and then siliconed all around the waterfall area, just so that stays in place. I also siliconed the branches so we have a little bit of structure to work with to build on top of. That rock, basically, that was actually a snake hide, and we kind of just used a cutoff wheel to cut it right down the middle. And because it was a flat, I wanted to kind of look like a cave-ish jungle feel, that it was just like a vertical drop waterfall. So, horrible picture of me, but this was actually before I spray foamed the side. I just wanted to show you kind of where it's positioned regarding that little tower made out of egg crates. I positioned it there because eventually the pump hose and the plug is going to be coming out of the back corner where you could kind of see it. The pump is going to be, of course, inside that little egg crate tower we built in the left corner of the water basin. I want to come up and eventually just go right on top of the rock wall. And also, this is a great way to hide any pumps. And also, we kind of made it to where if you're facing the front, you don't see that gap in between the right side of that rock structure from the back cork board. So eventually at the very end, we just kind of stuffed that little tower with aquarium filter foam. That way, if we ever need to get to the pump, we just remove that. I can stick my hand back there. It's kind of like optical illusion, and that way you're not building or spraying foam over the access point of your pump. So with that being said, everyone's different. Everyone's gonna have a different Curio cabinet or actual acrylic aquarium. So you just got to kind of get creative and see what works for you. Okay, so here's where it got fun. Now I'm going to go over everything in this picture. So on top of the rock waterfall structure, you see a kind of looking driftwood, I would call it. Why we use that and placed it on top is because it had a hole from the top of that piece of wood through the center of the wood and then out from the bottom. You could kind of see the pump. It's kind of a little hard to see, but that's where I kind of disguised it because I wanted to make it look a little natural looking. And that just leads right to the top of that rock waterfall, and made sure that the water does not drip in the back and whatnot, and it's just going to kind of coast and trickle down that eventually. When I did this, I did the waterfall rock first in the branches and let that cure with the expanding foam, and then I laid the entire cabinet down just so I could position everything, and then spray foam it as well so they don't fall. I used 2 very big pieces of cork. You can see them, the biggest ones in the center. I got those off Amazon. I also got the top little ones from my local pet shop. I kind of put randomly. I did filter foam the entire backdrop. I also filter foamed that front of that egg crate. Also the one side that you can't see but it is facing towards the rock waterfall. I filter foamed or expand foamed that. That little skinny piece of wood that's just kind of sticking out, that is a ledge that I'm hoping she will use. Funny thing is I got that at Goodwill. I don't know why, but it was just a very nice, solid, kind of cut out of, I guess, a tree, like stump. I made sure it was smooth and whatnot, and then I kind of just put that in there and it stayed, so I was pretty happy about that. So this picture is after all that expanding foam was cut to how I wanted to look, and also I believe that it is dry locked. So basically that expanding foam is going to look shiny. Once you spray it, it's going to look bubbly. You're going to want to, at least if you aren't picky about making it look super rockish, you could get away with just scraping off that shiny part, but if you want to get very detailed and cut, you could always use razor blades. What we found was a really good idea is to use an oscillating multi-tool. It's a hand tool, and basically it kind of vibrates back and forth and has like little scrapers, and we just kind of ran that down all of the edges. It was very quick, way better than the razor blade. I'll put a picture of that tool, but you could just look it up. It's called an oscillating multi-tool. But then we did a couple more layers just to add some depth, and then wait for those to dry, repeated. this and that. After that, what you're going to do after you get all the shiny stuff off, you are going to want to coat it with dry lock. Unless you're applying silicone and the substrate directly to the expanding foam. We want to go for a jungle mossy look. So I got dry lock in a light gray. I did add a lot of acrylic paint to it, which is perfectly fine. I added a lot of jet black and a little hint of burnt umber and Van Dyke brown, just a little bit, to make kind of like that graphite look. And I coated every single part of the expanding foam with that. After that, just to add some more depth to the look and to make it kind of look like stones, I just took the regular dry lock with no paint mixed into it, and it was a lighter gray, of course, and I kind of just dabbed that on the high spots just to make it more look 3D-ish. After that coat and layer was dry, I did want to make it look kind of like it was mossy. So again, you can see little touches of green everywhere. I mean, I'm actually kind of an artist. I do a lot of painting regardless. So you just want to take like a natural sea sponge. I got that from Michael's, Hobby Lobby, whatnot. Don't take a kitchen sponge. It's going to come out different. It's not going to look natural. It's going to look like shit. Get the natural sea sponge. Take more of your dry lock. Mix it with sap green and yellow ochre to get that kind of dismal, not neon, very mossy green look. And that's where I just dabbed it in random areas I thought looked good. Now it could start getting fun. Now everything's good. I started putting plants in there. Not real plants at the moment, but just like some fake plants, some vines. You know, I honestly bought mine off Temu. Very cheap, very affordable. Just look up reptile decor. Another tip is if you're putting it all over the place and you kind of want it sticking to the foam, what I would do is kind of cut slits in the expanding foam, hide the little plants in there, and then silicone over it. Also in this picture, you can see the front of the glass has those little, basically those slate tiles. So I did add slate rock to the bottom of the water basin. Kind of see it briefly, but I just took the slate stones, the flat slate, put them around, silicone that to the edges, kind of like to hide the glass and make it look more like river-ish feeling. The reason why the front looks perfectly square is those are actually sample tiles. If you go into any hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, basically if you go to the tile section, they have like these little rectangles of samples of flooring. I just picked up probably like 3 or 4 free ones that matched the decor, and I siliconed those to the front of the glass just to hide that egg crate. I know it's going to be hidden top view with river rock, but when you open the doors, I didn't want anyone to see kind of that part. So that was kind of smart. I enjoyed that little trick. So now basically what I added is at the top, I added a little pothos, a real pothos, just with expanding foam. I made like a little holder at the top left. You can kind of see it. It kind of blends in with the fake ones, so you can't see that that's real, but it is. The bottom, again, I put the aquarium foam, then the the window screen, and then also the dirt. You're going to want to do the same thing to the bottom of the water basin. I don't think filter foam is necessary. We just put the window screen at the bottom on top of the egg crate and then put the river rock, but it's your preference. But the rock's not going to really excrete any dirt. The land structure is. So we made sure that was very filtered so nothing's going to fall out of there. Here's another close-up of the land. So we filled it with the jungle mix substrate. I also planted a real snake plant to the right. I threw some just dead leaves I had from some of my plants inside the house and outside. And then I did mix the isopods in there with it. And here is the final picture of it. It's lit up. The doors are put back on. I'm going to get a close video of everything. This is all set up. And yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Here's the inside of the new Bioactive Paludarium. We got the waterfall going. Everything looks good. It's trickling down, not escaping through the back, all enclosed. Everything's looking with the lights. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments on it, and I hope you enjoyed my video. And I think Diablo the carpet python is enjoying her new home. Alright, thank you.